Hello everyone and welcome to another Firelake Chat, a YouTube discussion where I talk to creators and interesting people around the Great Lakes region. My name's Eric Kiska and I'm here today with Tracy and Cookie from the Detroit Roller Derby. How's it going, you two?
Going good, thank you.
So now I wanted to start out with what is the Detroit Roller Derby? If someone found this YouTube video and knew nothing about you all or that the roller derby was even a sport, how would you describe it to them? And Cookie, you can go first if you want.
So roller derby, the current iteration of roller derby, was kind of brought back to life from the old 70s, 80s, going around, bumping, hitting, tossing people around, except for when it was kind of brought back to life by the Texas Roller Girls, I think in around 2003 or 2004. Housing a bank track was really expensive and building one was expensive as well. So somebody from their league took the dimensions of a bank track and they squished it flat on their CAD. So that's how we got the dimensions for what is called flat track roller derby. And so Texas kind of started the revival, and around 2005 is when Detroit started their league, and at that point it was around 20 some odd leagues went to either Madison, Wisconsin or Chicago, I can't remember, but they got together and they kind of hammered out the initial rules on how to play the game so that we'd all be playing the same game when we played each other. And that's kind of where Detroit started from, and the current governing body for our league is the WFDA, or Women's Flat Track Derby Association.
So I guess what will people see if they go to one of your events? I know there's a lot of rules, so could you maybe explain some of them to me, Tracy?
Yeah, so when you show up, we're going to play a video that kind of goes over the rules a little bit, but we'll start with 5 players from each team on the track. 4 are blockers, 1 is a pivot. All that means is they have a stripe on the top of their helmet and they could become the jammer. And they have a few other special rules, but I won't go into that. And then the jammers, there will be 2 of those lined up behind the jam line that will be allowed to be released into the blockers after the whistle. So these 2 jammers are the ball. They are the 2 that can score. And you score by passing each blocker legally past their hips. So you can score up to 4 points per pass. And that's what you'll see over and over. And then you'll see a lot of hitting, people getting in the way, none of the big hits people get real excited about, because when do you see people flying across the track on roller skates? If a jammer gets tired, so they can pull that star off and pass it to the person with the stripe on their helmet, and then they legally become the jammer and can score points. And that's done for a lot of strategic reasons. If the other team gets lead, which means they just got out first, they can actually control the jam and call it off whenever they want. So if the other blocker jammer gets out, you want to call it before they hit the packs, because then they're scoring points. So there's a lot of back and forth of that, or you might want to go long if they pass it to the pivot because they're just not as strong of a jammer and we know we can hold them. So that jammer can go subsequent passes to score more points. So a lot of strategery, but it's just a 101.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And so how did the sport of roller derby begin? I guess just in my initial internet research, it has some origins in Chicago. Is that right, Cookie?
I believe it was Jerry Seltzer. Started, so back in the day, the original roller derby was just a race where people from different teams would go around an oval track that was a bank track, and what they were trying to do is just complete as many laps as possible within a set amount of time. And it was just a race. There was no hitting or kicking or whatever. And then as it became more popular, more towards the 70s and 80s is when it started getting into having just 2 teams against each other instead of individual skating against each other. And these teams started to, have strategy, have a little bit more detailed rules. And, that's kind of what branched into the roller derby that a lot of people who watched it back in the day would remember is being on the bank track. We've got a lot of big hits, a lot of flips, a lot of, fancy moves. And that's but the original roller derby was just a race.
How did roller derby culture evolve over the years? I know it has kind of like a lot of punk culture to it now. Tracy, how did it evolve from that to kind of the more punk culture that it has nowadays?
Oh, man. So, I mean, I started in 2012, and I still feel like it was kind of so just context, derby started 2005. I started in 2012, but it was still the fishnets, like us wearing like just fun costumes. I still paint my face. It's just like part of my routine. So like, I think from now or from 2012 to now, just like inclusivity is so important. There's been a lot of conversations about, we thought we were inclusive, but we weren't. We're just a bunch of white girls skating around in like plaid and fishnets, but like, it's really opened a lot of doors for people who haven't tried a sport before, or different gendered skaters and non-binary. Like anybody can come skate with us. Like we start every practice with what's your name and your pronoun, to make sure you feel comfortable, like especially in today's climate. So it's just like, while it's not inaccessible to play, because you can't just grab two mitts and a ball and go play roller derby. Like we create a community, right? So even if you start, like if you want to learn, because we need NSOs, we need refs, we'll start you there. We have boot camps where literally 6 to 8 months, Cookie, that and twice a year, where we want to make it safe for you, and to just like, if you've never tried skating before, like even my boot camp, I bought a pair of $5 rental skates from Salvation Army, and that's what I went to boot camp with, just to see if I liked it. And just like everyone was so warm and helpful, like, or if you see someone struggling, like the trainers that were there were like, hey, it sucks. It's going to suck the first couple of months, but we want to make sure it's safe and that you do want to come back, right? And however you want to participate too. I mean, we have refs and NSOs from back when you were skating, Cookie. I mean,
yeah,
still around.
I pretty much the 2005 ones are spread to the wind, but there are still people who started when I started that are skating, reffing, NSOing. NSOing is a non-skating official. If I could just interject a picture, because Tig brought up the face paint.
Cool.
This is Tig and I.
That's awesome.
Playing against Sin City, which is Las Vegas, at D2 regionals. So this was a regional tournament, and Tig is always known for having just going the extra mile to have it a fun, awesome experience. Face painting, getting the bout fit together. So I was going through my Facebook and I ran across this. I'm like, I have to share this one.
Before like 2005, was there? I mean, roller derbies like in the 70s when punk really started coming on, and did that have any effect into it? Because I know Detroit has a huge influence on punk in general, like a band called Death, MC5, the Stooges. Did that affect punk and roller derby kind of conjoining at all?
I would say, like, when we first started, it was more of that underground sort of vibe. Like we had cheerleaders, but they, had fishnets, and, they had the black and red, and we used to have bands at our halftime, like local bands, stuff like that. We had Vinny with Crud at one of our halftimes. That was amazing. So I think that it did really start off as like that underground grassroots thing. And for the most part, it still kind of is. I mean, we might not be all rocking awesome fishnets or, punk rock type outfits, although, some do. But it's still that grassroots vibe where we own our league. We put our time and our effort and our money into it. We do have sponsors who are super awesome and help us out with things, but for the most part, we're the ones, pounding the pavement, getting flyers out there, talking to people, trying to get people to come see us play. So it's still got that grassroots vibe.
Yeah, and how did the Detroit Roller Derby go from, just kind of a more, people skating around together to like an official league?
So, for example, the very first time that I met anybody from Derby, I was at this downtown bar. It was called the 2500 Club. It was a punk rock bar. My old roommate worked there as a bartender, and I was just there hanging out with one of our announcers, AK 40 ounce, and the group that was trying to form this Detroit Derby Girls at the time, or Detroit Roller Derby, they had a fundraiser, and they were skating around this dirty punk rock bar with their Satan schoolgirls jackets and trying to get people interested in joining this league that they were trying to build from the ground up. And I it's very funny because I actually did not sign up. My friend signed up and wanted me to join her, so she signed me up behind my back. And I get a call from one of the founders, Scarlet Fever, and she's like, hey, you know, we're doing this derby thing. We're all going to meet up at Riverside Arena to skate and, like, you know, try and get more people. And I was like, what? Like, I was very shy, a big wallflower at the time. And I was like, okay. So I went there, and it was quite funny because I did not know how to skate, and I went around, like, stumbled to every alternative looking person, and I was like, are you with Detroit Roller Derby? And they're like, no. And then, you know, Scarlett comes in, and I kid you not, I know I'm remembering this a little, you know, extra, but she comes in, her hair's all done rockabilly style, she's got her Satan schoolgirl jacket on, she's got her cool, you know, skates with her sparkly wheels, and, you know, she's all done up, and she's like, hey, I'm Scarlet Fever, you want to join roller derby? And I was like, yes, I do.
Cool.
So yeah. We actually started practicing at a place called the Bohemian Social Club downtown. I believe it was more towards the west side of Detroit, and they were trying to redo this place to become like a venue. But we had to show up an hour early before every practice because we had to sweep the floors, we had to mop the floors, we had to clean all the junk out because they were renovating. And the floor was actually 2 levels that we had to, like, be mindful of. Like, okay, we're coming to this, and, like, bump. And unfortunately, it was at our very first practice that Scarlet Fever broke her leg because of that stupid uneven floor.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez. Yeah, and I guess how did it go from you playing at the Bohemian Social Club to Masonic Temple? How did it get bigger and bigger over the years?
It was everybody literally pounding the streets. Like, I remember we all would meet up at somebody's basement. We'd roll T-shirts and you know, tie them up with rubber bands, and then everything that we could think of, we would try and get a table there. We would try and get flyers out. Like, I lived in the Ferndale area, so, like, literally a group of us would go to every single bar and be like, here's some flyers for our upcoming thing. Devil Kitty, who was the president when we first started, she must have spent, like, every waking hour that she wasn't at work talking to people, talking to venues, going to check them out. Like, I remember going with her. We went to St. Andrews, but we couldn't go there because it wasn't big enough. We went literally everywhere we could think of. And then we went to the Masonic, and they were like, here's this 3rd floor drill hall. And we were like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. That was kind of how it was. Just a lot of manual labor, like a lot of hard work, a lot of talking to people. Like, me being a complete, like, wallflower, very, you know, nervous talking to people, I had to learn, like, okay, go approach the stranger and start trying to sell them derby, you know. So I think it was awesome, but, you know, it was a lot of work. Every spare moment was either practicing, walking, you know, going to bars, going to, like, myself and another skater at the time, Vega Vendetta, we went to this open mic at a coffee house where literally everybody's like, what are you? And we're like, buy our stickers. They're only $1. Derby. Yay.
That's awesome. It sounds like promoting a punk rock show in a way, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just going around handing out flyers. Yeah.
Well, don't tell my work, but, like, my old job that I had, I used to borrow their copy machine so I could print out our flyers and cut them up.
Yeah, cool. And now there's multiple teams. How many teams are there now? Is it in the Detroit Roller Derby, like that league specifically? Is it like 6 or 7 now?
Trick question.
Yeah.
So we had, history-wise, we had 5 home teams.
Okay.
We started off with 4, and then the league grew so big after Whip It came out, so 2009.
Okay.
We had to get another team added. So we have, at that time we had 5 home teams. So Detroit Pissed-Offs, Pistol Whippers, Grand Prix Madonnas, Defunk, and Devil's Night Dames. Then at that time we had an A, B, and C travel team. So we do travel. We are the only, so we are it. There's no like soccer or like hockey where they have professional leagues or like different like minor leagues. Like Detroit or Roller Derby's one league once you're part of WIFTA. So these leagues actually travel worldwide for rankings. And then we had a rec league too. So what they were called the Wreckers. So those are just anybody who kind of wasn't on a team who just wanted to play locally and like play scrimmages around. We're starting to get those numbers again, but they haven't really played since the pandemic. So when the pandemic happened, we were rebuilding the league. Like we lost a chunk of members. So we were barely able to fill our 4 teams. Like we were borrowing skaters like every game just because we just didn't have enough, which was fun as a skater because you got the potential to play 2 games in one thing, because that's why we're here, right? To play games. But so we're slowly building that back up. We'd like to get back up to that 5, but we'll see. And so we're just at 4 home teams right now.
Now there was a film starring Elliot Page called Whip It about the sport of roller derby that was directed by Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to slyly look for my pictures.
Okay.
I was like, you got a star in here.
Yeah.
It's not from the set. We weren't allowed to take pictures from the set, but so the group of us that were actually in the movie all got on top of the Masonic roof. Don't tell the Masonic we did this. Okay, here it is. So this is, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is everybody from Detroit who is in the movie.
Cool.
Whether we were like, we've got our refs like Iggy Slop, and there's Howie Rolson, and there's Bella Gogosi, Crash Baby, myself, Tiny Ninja or Tinja, Racer McChaser. So, Marv Illis, Muffy Mafioso, Rock Candy, Summer's Evil, and oh gosh, I forgot his derby name, but Will. So, yep, that was everybody who was in Whip It from Detroit.
And so
we had a lot of people.
How did that come about? So Shauna Cross wrote a book and then wrote the screenplay, and Drew Barrymore directed it. How did they end up approaching you all?
They actually, so this was when Michigan had that really sweet deal for movies to be made in Michigan. I believe Governor Granholm had that initiative. So like all these movies were starting to be produced and made in, Michigan, in the Detroit area. And I don't remember, I think it was maybe Crash Baby. But somebody was like, they are filming a roller derby movie. Here is the information for tryouts. So we all, like a ton of us from Grand Rapids, from Kalamazoo, from Detroit, all of us went to Saline, where they had this bank track built in, and that's where we had our tryouts. There was actually more people, because I remember Whiskey Soured must not have been in that picture, but there was quite a few of us from Michigan itself who got to skate in that movie, and I will say it was definitely an awesome experience. Like everybody from Drew Barrymore, Elliot Page, Juliette Lewis, like all Eve. Eve was in the scene where I got to pretend to forearm her, and I was clinging onto the side rails for dear life because I messed up the flip that we were supposed to do. But so we went to this tryout or audition, I guess you call it.
Where was it? The audition?
Saline.
Oh, Saline. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha.
it was in one of those big like trucking warehouses. They set up a bank track, and we got to practice there and everything. And then the filming was done mainly in Hamtramck.
Cool.
So it was the only thing that was, it was over the summer and it was really hot, and they tried to like get these tubes of like air conditioning, how we had to do that a couple times at the Masonic. But no, it was an awesome experience. And like I said, everybody was so cool. Like it was just a really cool thing.
And so that, I'm sure, got, as you said earlier, got enrollment up even more, and that definitely put a lot of popularity into the sport. More people knew about it. Yeah, we definitely had a huge spike in people being interested and players wanting to come skate with us. Yeah, and like building off that, what's the state of the Detroit Roller Derby today? And I guess you can also talk about upcoming events you have right now and everything like that. Are you, Tracy? Are you still skating?
Yes.
Okay. And then Cookie, you're more doing like the business side of it now, or
no? I'm trying to retire. I've been trying to retire.
You're still
for years.
Okay. Yeah,
it's just really hard.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, I've heard this narrative every year.
I thought you said back when I skated earlier, but
I'm not on the home team right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just travel team.
Yeah,
ish, maybe.
Gotcha.
Trying to retire.
Okay, gotcha.
Before we get into where we are, I just wanted to share one more picture. This is one of our very first league pictures, just to kind of show you how much we've grown. We had just enough for 2 teams when we first started, but like this was our league. Our league was, like I said, we literally had to be our own promotion, be our own managers, do everything. Devil Kitty was huge with writing practices because we had no idea what we were doing. So, and I remember we actually had somebody from Hydra, was a skater with Texas who started the revival. DK got Hydra to fly up here and teach us some derby because we were still like, we're trying, we don't know. So it was pretty cool. But like now we have, the last league practice I went to, there was a ton of people. So it's really cool to see how we've gone from like barely enough for 2 teams to at one point we had 5 teams, and we have 3 travel teams, and we have all these new people joining us from different leagues and new skaters coming in. That's why it's really hard to retire.
Gotcha.
I really have been trying for years, and I just can't quit it. Yeah,
I'm sure it takes a toll on the body too. So yeah.
Yes, I have the bones of an 80-year-old football player.
Yeah,
she's sponsored by Tiger Balm, I'm sure.
No. CVS Old Man Cream, CVS version of Ben Gay. That is the stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
Sure. So yeah, the state of the roller derby today. How are y'all doing right now? And any upcoming events you want to talk about too?
Yeah, we just had our kickoff 2 weekends ago. So our games are always on Saturdays. Our season's typically October through May-ish, and that could fluctuate. But it's either a single header or a double header, and so our home teams are going to play against each other typically during this time, and then we'll have a champs, and then we'll go into a little taste of travel season. So we'll bring skaters from other leagues and states to come play us. So Ohio's always fun because there's a good Michigan-Ohio rivalry. Just get butts and seats. And then we have a juniors league too. So children 7 through 17 can come skate with us too. So that boot camp's also coming up, and so it is our adult boot camp, and that's in December as well. So a lot of things happening because we're just like kicking off into our 21st anniversary season, which I can't believe I'm saying right now.
Cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then there's also like tournaments too. Like you said, WFDA is the overall governing body. So what is that like? So you actually travel to other places too and face people in different cities. Yeah.
So our AB teams will typically travel anywhere within our region. So each team is designated into a region. So we're in the Northeast. So that's, I think, Ohio, Michigan, and then all the way over to Maine. Any teams that fall within that region we're going to be playing against for rankings. If we play anybody outside a region, that it's just what does GER stand for?
global something ranking.
Yeah, but so that won't actually help our rankings points. So as you score, like you have to beat a certain percentage against that team to go up in your rankings, and then those rankings are used for the top 12 teams to go to regionals, where those teams will play against each other for champs. So they pick usually 3 to 4 teams per region to go to champs in November. So the regionals is going to be May through June-ish. And then those teams will typically play late October or November for the championships. And that's every 2 years now. It used to be every year, but because of budget constraints and accessibility and like getting teams from around the world together, it's just a huge feat, especially on leagues, because they also have to compete against each other for those rankings. So it's like, how do you balance that, run a league, and fit in all your practices with all your spare time that no one has? So,
For sure. And yeah, where can we find y'all? At DetroitRollerDerby.com. I'm sure you also have
we have
social media.
Facebook and Instagram. We have all sorts of cool things. Yeah. Shout out to Trash for setting up some sweet content. But yeah, information can always be found at www.DetroitRollerDerby.com.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add? Promotion-wise or anything? Yeah.
You do not have to know how to skate to join us. I'm just saying we teach. Well, okay, don't fall over in your skates, but we have so many things like opportunities for people who want to skate versus not want to skate. It's a family, like Tig said. Because trust me, I'm supposed to retire, but I don't wanna because this is where my family is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thank you for talking to me. And again, go to DetroitRollerDerby.com to check out their upcoming schedule and to see what events they have going on. And thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.